What's up, YouTube? JTwoH back here for another video. Today, real quick, I was just going to run down my 2011 A Year in TNA DVDs. 2011 was better than 2010. Not as good as 2012, in my opinion. Also, before I get too far, I'm going to put a link down here somewhere for my friend that just started up a YouTube channel, so definitely go check it out. Nothing wrestling related, but you guys should enjoy it, so go check that out. So yeah, we'll just go ahead and jump right into things. Start off with Genesis of 2011. Nice Kurt Angle picture on the front there. 2011 is weird with DVDs because it's hit or miss on what's on a twin pack and what's not. So this one's not, and it looks pretty good actually. I like this release. But anyway, I just finished, well, I didn't just finish, but I just ran through all the 11s on a first time watch. 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. I just ran through them all, so should definitely know what's up with these matches. Anderson and Matt Morgan in a number one contenders match. Jarrett versus Angle in a double J, double MA exhibition. RVD versus Matt Hardy is the mystery opponent. Doug Williams versus Abyss. Bully Ray versus Devon. Machine Guns versus Beer Money. Madison Reigns versus Mickie James. And, whoa, it's supposed to go upside down, so I'll get to that later. And then Lethal and Kazarian for the X Division Championship, which was a good match. So this goes this way down. And anyway, so Anderson and Morgan wrestle for the number one contendership. And then Anderson beats Morgan. And then he immediately gets a championship match. Like right after he fights Jeff Hardy. And then he beats Jeff Hardy in like a 5-6 minute match. So Anderson wins the number one contenders match and then wins the title in the same night. So kind of weird booking, but whatever. I like those, like this type of random weird things I like with TNA over some of the competition. So there's another Twin Pack Volume 3, Against All Odds and Victory Road of 2011. Shit. So this one starts off with Kazarian and Robbie E. Beer Money and Scott Steiner versus Rob, Terry, Gunner, and Murphy. Yes, that match is as bad as it sounds. Madison Reigns versus Mickie James. D'Angelo De Niro versus Samoa Joe. Can't remember if it's Joe's feud versus D'Angelo De Niro or Devon's feud. It's Joe's feud. I actually dig the feud. Bully Ray versus Devon. This match was better than their Genesis match. Van Dam versus Matt Hardy again. And then Anderson versus Hardy in a world title match. Other Hardy. Jeff Hardy. In a world title ladder match. Oops, I forgot. Kurt Angle versus Jarrett again in just a singles match. But anyway, then Anderson versus Hardy in a ladder match where Hardy wins the belt back from Anderson. And then in the time you go from Against All Odds to Victory Road 2011, which we'll get to why that one's infamous. Hardy had already dropped the title to Sting. So walking into this one, Sting is the world champion. So you got Bully Ray versus Dreamer in a pretty good no DQ match. Angelina Love and Winter versus Sarita and Rosita. Really goofy first blood match between Matt Morgan and Hernandez. The finish is very questionable. Ultimate X match between Kazarian, the Bucks, and Robbie E. It was a decent Ultimate X match, pretty forgettable. Beer Money versus Inc. AJ Styles versus Matt Hardy. Man, imagine that match today, huh? Anderson and Van Dam in a number one contenders match. Sting versus Jeff Hardy in the worst match in TNA history. So, definitely a throwaway pay-per-view for Victory Road. Against All Odds wasn't too bad, but Victory Road, we all know why that's bad. And if you don't, just Google it. So then we go to Lockdown 2011. This one I think goes backwards too. So an escape match. Generation Me, Suicide, Robbie E, Sabin, Amazing Red, Brian Kendrick, and Lethal. I really like the escape matches, I really do. Four Corners match. Crimson and Steiner versus Inc. versus the British Invasion versus Eric Young and Orlando Jordan. I don't quite remember that. Madison Reigns and Mickie James. Title versus hair. Smojo versus D'Angelo Dinero. Did I skip over? Did they have a match at Victory Road? Huh, they were left off. What? I think this settles their feud there. Morgan and Hernandez again. Kurt Angle and Jeff Jarrett's pretty good. I like Kurt Angle and Jarrett better than I did Anderson and Angle the year before. Sting versus Anderson versus Van Dam for the world title. It was a decent match. And then Lethal Lockdown, Ric Flair, Bully Ray, Abyss, and Matt Hardy versus Kazarian, Beer Money, and Daniels. Pretty decent Lethal Lockdown. AJ Styles returns, as you can see. Man, super blurry today. Sorry, guys. And then we're going to bust right back into a twin pack here, Volume 4. Sacrifice and Slammiversary of 2011. Now, you'd always think that Slammiversary wouldn't be in a 2-pack, but for whatever reason this year, Slammiversary is less important than Destination X. Which, for the event, I agree with this decision. So we go right off with Sacrifice 2011. Mexican America versus Inc., which is what Mexican America is. Hernandez and... oh, shit. I don't even know the other guy's name. Fuck. I don't know. And then Shannon Moore and Jesse Neal's Inc. So, man, I don't remember the Mexican American guy's name there. Oh, Anarquia. So it's Hernandez and Anarquia. Brian Kendrick versus Robbie E. Mickie James versus Madison Rayne again. This one for Tara, because I think she's Madison Rayne's puppet in the storyline. Kazarian versus Max Buck. Abyss versus Crimson. I think this starts or continues Crimson's 18-month streak as being undefeated, which I enjoyed for the most part. Beer Money versus Matt Hardy and Chris Harris. Pretty goofy booking, but I really liked the aspect of the AMW teammates in the ring together at the same time. I thought that was pretty cool. So I enjoyed that match. Chris Harris was a little out of shape, but whatever. AJ Styles and Tommy Dreamer in a pretty good match. And then, they don't have it on here, but it's Kurt Angle and Chyna, the late great Chyna, versus Jeff Jarrett and Karen Jarrett. So I liked that match too. I liked the both of the goofy tag team booking matches. I liked them. They're probably the best part of the show, I thought. I don't know, Styles and Dreamer's pretty good. And then Sting and Van Dam. Yep. So then you go to Slammiversary 2011. I think they call it 9. So. And then we start off with James Storms and Alex Shelley. Gun Money versus the British Invasion. And a pretty good match, actually. Matt Morgan and Scott Steiner. Yep. Abyss versus Brian Kendrick versus Kazarian. This is I think this is the start of the Abyss taking over the X Division feud. And, Immortal taking it over. Smojo versus Crimson in a decent match. Mickie James versus Angelina Love. AJ Styles versus Bully Ray in a pretty good last man standing. It's probably the match of the night, I gotta say. World title match between Sting and Anderson. I like the build-up for this match, too, with Anderson dressing up like young Sting. I thought that was really cool. And then Kurt Angle versus Jarrett for the final time. Guess the main event slot, which is pretty cool booking. So. And then we move right along to Destination X 2011, which brings back the 6-sided ring. And I love the gimmick of bringing it back for one night. And they did the Destination X where it focuses on the X Division in 2012, but they didn't bring back the ring. So this was a really cool event. I enjoyed a lot of it, if not all of it. So you start off with Joe and Kazarian, Doug Williams versus Mark Haskins, Generation Me versus Eric Young and Shark Boy, in a match that'd be better than you expected. Ultimate X between Shelley, Shannon Moore, Robbie E, and Amazing Red. Rob Van Dam versus Jerry Lynn is always pretty good. And then this match, one of the most underrated matches I think I've ever seen. It's probably my favorite TNA match, if not my second, third. It's probably up there in the top 5. It's up there in the top 5. Winner gets the Impact contract. Low Key, Zema Ion, or DJZ, Austin Aries, and Jack Evans. Dude, it's a fucking crazy. I remember watching it and gradually sitting up the whole time because I couldn't imagine. It was really good. And Austin Aries is great. Abyss versus Brian Kendrick for the X Division title. This finishes that feud. And then AJ Styles and Christopher Daniels starts off there. I think it's a year-long feud with the Claire Lynch and all that stuff. So pretty good event. I really like Destination X, and like I said, I think it was actually better than Slammiversary of that year. So, and then you move right on to Hardcore Justice No Surrender Twin Pack 5. And with the Twin Packs, they're a lot easier to get all the content on the Twin Pack, so they're the same price as a regular DVD. And save shelf room, and I like how they still have the covers on them, but I mean, I could see why you'd hate it too, so I don't know. So whatever. Hardcore Justice, you got Aries versus Shelley versus Kendrick, Rosita and Sarita versus Tara and Miss Tessmacher. Bound for Glory Series, Pope versus Devon. That starts that feud. That's the one. The Devon Pope feud is over Devon's sons. I think this starts off that feud. Winner versus Mickie James for the Knockouts title. Bound for Glory Series, RVD versus Crimson. Fortune versus Immortal. I think that's a tag match or a 6-man tag. Bully Ray versus Anderson. Mexican America versus Beer Money. And Kurt Angle versus Sting. With some goofy interference, but Kurt Angle goes over with the title, so that's always good. Oh, No Surrender 2011. Jesse Sorensen versus Kid Cash, number one contendership for the X Division title. Bully Ray versus James Storm for the Bound for Glory series. Mickie James a winner again. World Tag Team titles. Mexican America versus Pope and Devon, continuing their feud. Matt Morgan versus Samoa Joe. Gunner versus Bobby Roode. Austin Aries versus Brian Kendrick. And a pretty good match, actually. They spelled Aries wrong. Look at that. Dumbasses. Bully Ray versus Bobby Roode in the finals of the Bound for Glory Championship. The finals of the Bound for Glory series. This is right in the really hot Bobby Roode push, so I'm always a fan of that. And then Anderson, Sting, and Kurt Angle for the world title in that main event. So, 2 decent pay-per-views. No Surrender 2012 is a great event. I can't wait to talk about that one. But, I mean, this one starts the Bound for Glory series, so that's pretty cool. Bound for Glory 2011, 2-disc set here. I like this DVD too, with the We the People. I don't remember where it was. I think Philadelphia. So, alright, match starts with Kendrick and Austin Aries. I think at this point Aries is the champion. If not, he is after this. Full Metal Mayhem, Van Dam and Jerry Lynn was pretty good. It was better than the Destination X match, I can tell you that. Anderson and Bully Ray, really good. I remember some of the spots with the guardrail. Samoa Joe, Crimson, and Matt Morgan. I love that match. I mean, they're a little stiff because they're huge guys, but I really liked the aspect of putting them all 3 in there. Styles versus Daniels, the I Quit match. Always good to see those 2 together. I can't remember which one's better, that one or the Destination X. Knockouts title, winner versus Mickie James versus Velvet Sky versus Madison Rayne. Hogan versus Sting, and it was a storyline filled match, but it was good, Big O blade job by Hogan, bloody Sting, huge Hogan turn. It was enjoyable. It's definitely an enjoyable match. Kurt Angle versus Bobby Roode in a really good main event match. But overall, not the best Bound for Glory, but I might even say Bound for Glory 10 was better, but it was definitely enjoyable. Oh yeah, Joker Sting. I forgot, that was the summer of Joker Sting. So then we get to the final DVD of the year. It's the Twin Pack Volume 6, Turning Point Final Resolution of 2011. Now at this point, Bobby Roode didn't win at Bound for Glory, but then James Storm had won on Impact, and he had won it from James Storm. So I really liked the Bobby Roode picture, or Bobby Roode push. So this is part of it. Eric Young and Robbie E for the television championship. I don't know why they put that belt on Robbie E. I really don't understand his push or his gimmick. So the World Tag Team titles, Mexican America. It is Anarquia. Against Inc. Oh, that's the 6-man match. Because they got Toxin. Austin Aries versus Kid Cash versus Jesse Sorensen. So Aries is the champ at this point. Van Dam versus Christopher Daniels in a pretty good match. Crimson versus Matt Morgan. This is right before they become tag team partners. Mr. Anderson and Abyss versus Immortal. Bully Ray and Scott Steiner. I can't remember that match too well. Velvet Sky versus Gail Kim. And Bobby Roode versus AJ Styles. I really liked the Bobby Roode AJ Styles matches to close out the year here. Final Resolution 2011. You got Van Dam and Chris Daniels again. Eric Young and Robbie E again. Matt Morgan and Crimson versus D'Angelo Dinero and Devon. So they already, between pay-per-views, they won the titles. And they're defending against Devon and Dinero. I thought they were feuding. Why are they teamed? I don't remember how that storyline goes. It was a pretty long one, though. Aries versus Kid Cash. Gail Kim versus Mickey James. Kurt Angle versus James Storm in a pretty good match. I liked this in the middle of a James Storm push too, and I really liked what they were doing with pushing Bobby Roode, pushing James Storm. You know, especially because I can't remember. It's this time right going into Genesis. Man, he was crazy hot. Like the fans, he was so over. It was crazy. Loser is fired. Jeff Jarrett versus Jeff Hardy. Didn't they wrestle? Yeah, they fought here too. They fought here. They fought 3 times on Turning Point. And they're not on here because Jeff Hardy returned at Bound for Glory because he had gotten sent home after Victory Road. So he returns here. They wrestle 3 times. He wins all 3. So they do number 1 contenders match, and the loser's fired. So between the Jeffs, Jeff Hardy and Jeff Jarrett, with Hardy going over obviously, and then an Iron Man match between Bobby Roode and AJ Styles. So there you have it. And that concludes my 2011 A Year in TNA DVDs. And I gotta say, there's not much to see. Like, that's all the DVDs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 DVDs. But like I said, saves shelf room, and some of the events you're almost glad you didn't pay for them. So, but anyway, guys, tell me what you think and what you thought. Let me know what I can do better. Let me know if you like it. Definitely leave some comments. Let me know what you think about the TNA sales rumors, all that stuff. I think it's crazy, and I really hope the rumors I heard today about WWE owning the library are true, because I can't imagine watching all this on the network. Oh man, what a deal! And being able to get all the early shows, and man, I'm just going crazy thinking about it. So definitely hope that goes through. Give it a like, share, subscribe, and I'll catch you later, YouTube.